Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. You're like a book club for people who hate reading. This month they're doing grab bags, so Rob picked the movie The Third Man, made in 1949. We're supposed to bring you movie news. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens.
Hello!
And the man whose favorite hobby is making fun of Ryan's movie choices.
The old guy's here.
So the description of this movie is a pulp novelist, Holly Martins, travels to shadowy post-war Vienna only to find himself investigating the mysterious death of an old friend. Black marketeer opportunist Harry Lime.
Harry Lime.
Which, by the way, sounds like a bad dime store novel bad guy.
Harry Lime. Yep.
This movie to me kind of has the same feel as Bullet, but less kind of beatnik attached to it.
Okay.
Bullet?
I mean, besides the chase scenes, I don't know.
Pre-Mustang.
Way pre-Mustang. What, 20 years? But it has that feeling to me, and I don't know if that's is it noir or something a part of it, but that's the feeling.
I think that's what you're feeling, because that's kind of what I was sensing, is a little bit of noir-esque type of.
Yeah, it had a lot of for the year it was produced, and the people that were in it. You have Orson Welles and Joseph Cotten as the main player. Trevor Howard, of course, was in it.
Who was Joseph Cotten known for? Because Orson Welles was known for his voice, very, 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 very particular voice.
He was a leading man in a number of
films
here.
Because he
did a lot of Broadway.
Citizen Kane, The Third Man, Shadow of a Doubt, The Magnificent Amberson.
Yeah.
So he was in some
He was a big time guy. It was big getting him to join in on this movie at that time. And Orson Welles was, this is before the Orson Welles that we all know, kind of big, heavy guy with a beard.
Yeah.
It was a very young
Especially,
Orson Welles.
when they actually showed him. He looked like a young man.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
I actually had to have him point him out, because that can't be him.
Yeah, he didn't even recognize him.
Really?
No.
John
I didn't recognize him at all.
Yeah.
But I know his voice, though. I mean, because he was the Shadow, but even that was in the 50s.
You can't miss his voice.
I kind of agree with John on the thing that there was a lot of noir-esque feel to this film, which I guess just doesn't do much for me anymore. It kind of felt to me that that kind of took away from the movie for me. Like the story kind of dragged at points because of that.
I think that's the one thing about this movie that for me took a little bit, and I generally like movies that are slow burns, but this movie to me was slow.
But it seemed like a story, like they were really laying out the story and
Do you think there was too much or too little story? Because some points I thought
think
it
there
wasn't
was too
enough.
much.
Really?
The problem we have in this day and age, 2015, sitting here, when we look at a movie made in 1949 and we say it's slow, that was actually a fairly fast-paced movie for the period.
Oh, I have no doubt.
It really was.
So we have to look at it a little bit different. Step back a little bit. And what got me about this movie is, like I said, this movie has landed in the top 100 movies ever in multiple lists.
And I believe
and
that
in
you can
some
totally
of
tell
them,
why.
the top 10. And I think besides the cast, we had some pretty incredible cinematography. Imagine trying to light those sewer systems in there, and the bridges and the shadows. When somebody walked, there's a shadow of a man the size of a building. I mean, some of the effects that they did were just incredible for the time. And I think that's probably why this movie ended up in the top 10 lists of many places of all-time movies.
Oh,
now,
yes,
this is
for the time, they
for the time.
were groundbreaking.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they
say that to the mic.
And I do think they definitely used the medium of black and white to its fullest. From the shadows when the law enforcement ducked away into it, so you couldn't see them when they were following Harry Lime, to the bright scenes in the theater. So they definitely used it to its fullest.
Yeah,
highlighting things.
It doesn't really hold up as a movie per se if we were comparing it to today's movies and the pace of today's movies and that kind of thing.
I would disagree with you, because this movie, I think, makes you pay attention. Because if you get a little bored or you're not paying enough attention, you'll miss little things. Well, when new movies you know, you blink, you miss everything because they're like, you know, boom, 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 boom. This one gives you time to expand, to think, to kind of get ahead of the movie a little bit. Then it twists it and turns it on its side and goes a different direction. And
Yeah. Well, the thing that I wanted to know, and it was not in the version that I watched, was where were the subtitles?
See? And that was one of my points. I mentioned that to Jonathan. I said,
did.
see, this is the way these movies were made. They were spoken in the language they were spoken in, and you either had to figure out what they were talking about by innuendo, or the person would say, oh, he said so-and-so.
Yes.
And I loved the fact that they didn't use subtitles.
And I actually
Just
have
like
to
the
say
Yiddish
I
Indians.
enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying it just to do that. I was saying it to point out to people, if you watch it or haven't watched it,
Right.
they weren't there. And I think they did a fantastic job of insinuating what the person was saying throughout the entire film. And that's something that is a lost art.
Yep.
And I would also say by having somebody translate too, it was also able to highlight the important parts. Like the reason, you know, like not everybody was germane to the story, so why know what they're saying when you can kind of get the idea by facial expressions.
Right.
And the other thing
Right,
is that in the beginning of the film, if you're an idiot and you missed it, he talked about the fact that all the occupying forces, not very many of them spoke the same language, and they
Exactly.
didn't understand everything.
Except
so
for maybe a
that
little
was
German.
part of the story.
Absolutely. 'Cause
And so
had
if
the
you
Russians,
missed
the
it,
Germans,
and you're like, where the hell's all the subtitles?
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch the beginning of the movie, idiot.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and
it
the
was
only people who do are the
exactly.
the what do you call it? The friendly forces in the middle. You know, everybody
Yeah.
who kind
Yeah,
of works together.
So
Yeah.
I thought, you know, the Joseph Cotton character, Holly Martin's,
Yes.
um,
I enjoyed his character.
I did too. And I thought a lot of the movie was through his eyes.
Yes.
I think
You
it was
know-
all through it. I mean, because
Okay, you could say all, but my point is that, you know, he was trying to figure out what was going on, what happened to his friend, did his friend really die or not? I mean, he was going places where law enforcement and military was telling him, you shouldn't do it. Don't look at it.
Yeah.
Don't get involved with this type of thing. And he still fell into a lot of this
yeah,
stuff.
and
in
what was the
many
guy's
ways.
name? The Polish guy? Was it the Polish guy that told him the first time not to go?
Probably.
Or to leave it alone,
And
not,
I
to,
would-
Leave it alone.
not to get into
Yeah,
And I
or
would-
something.
uniform.
And I would say he stumbled into it. It wasn't necessarily him discovering things. I literally think most of the stuff was just plain blind luck.
Combination. I'm going to say it's a combination because in the beginning he stumbled into it. Then as he went on, he really did start looking into it. So
I'll
you
give you
have
that.
both. You
I'll
have
give you
both.
that.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end.
Yeah.
And
So I was trying to find out. Now, I believe, now I'm looking at the Criterion collection. This one is actually number 64 on their list. And I don't know if
Wow.
you guys know much about the Criterion, but they are very well known for picking really good films. There are
Right.
some that I disagree with them on, but
Sure.
number 64
That's
is
pretty
actually
high for
really
them.
high for
Yeah,
them.
It
and
is.
they're also one of the good things about the Criterion collection is they generally clean up the movie.
Yes, they do.
I mean, technologically, the movies are amazing and they're cleaned up, so they preserve the medium. So if you ever
But-
want to see this movie, look for the Criterion collection.
yeah, I was
DVD
just
if you wanna
pointing out
buy
that it is in there, and I've pointed that out before in a couple of the
Yeah.
films.
Yes,
that-
you
but-
have. Yeah.
But this one, I actually agree. It should be on there. I think, like I said to John, though, there was a couple of parts that I got to be honest, it started to lose my interest. But you know, like you're saying, it is a time factor. If you do look at the movies from 1949 and less, or up
Right.
until I'd say 55, 60,
Mid-fifties,
this was not a film that was slow. This was not one that was mostly story driven, or I shouldn't say that. But that was it wasn't a film that was really forcibly story. It was a lot of action and fast pace and twists and turns, plot twists and
Yeah.
turns for the film.
You know, it's interesting how you, and we've all done it, where we remember a movie from when we saw it many, many years ago. And this is the movie I saw probably in the 70s. And it stuck with me. Yeah, it stuck with me as, well, it's kind of an interesting movie. I mean, we were kind of movie buffs as well as music snobs and that kind of thing. And we would come up with black and whites. Our whole thing was black and white movies. Let's watch black and whites. And this was one that I remembered liking a lot back then. And I wouldn't say I liked it a lot. Now I still enjoyed it. I think it's, it wears with time, but that's okay. Interesting plot, and I'm good with it.
See, I keep thinking with the wears with time, and I'm not quite sure if it's a good thing the fact this movie drags on, because
I would say with this one, I think we would be doing it an injustice to really be pegging it to the time. I mean, to putting it, as Rob was saying, I kind of sit on both sides of the fence. I think that sometimes, yes, we should take a film and say, how does it hold up in today's audience, and what would they do? But I think with this one, it would be an injustice to the film because of what they were actually doing with it. I mean, if we take a film like Casablanca, yeah, we can throw it in with the time frame thing. But, and even comparing this to that film, I think that this one holds up in comparison to that one.
Yeah.
And that one, what everybody says is a timeless classic. But I guarantee if you go out on the street and ask 50 people, 2 of them might have seen Casablanca.
They even say Grapes of Wrath is one of the most amazing movies ever.
Maltese Falcon now is the one that, if you're going to throw it out to people, that's the, as you start getting in my generation, a little bit before maybe, they'll go, oh, absolutely. I mean, that was the big spy adventure and Humphrey Bogart and that whole thing.
So to throw things up a bit, was there any particular point of the story you liked the most? Because one of my favorite scenes was the one where he discovered Harry Lime was alive. He went to the cops and said, I swear I saw him. He's like, okay, Mr. American, type of thing. I liked that scene because that's when you really got to see, I think, more of the underworld. I would say that was kind of like one of the second acts, or a different actor kind of changing the story, when you got to see kind of things the way they really were.
The one, man, for me, you're going to laugh at this. So you remember we had the scene where he was at the burial and people were taking scoops of dirt and dumping it in. So he ended up doing it twice, right? Because the first time it was not Harry Lime in the casket, right? So he came back, and that's what got me. That scene, I really went, okay, that's a great rap, because they show him digging in and dumping the sand.
Or the fact, I think they used the same scene twice with that girl walking by.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that was the same footage.
That may have been, but I thought that was great.
I thought the look that Wells gave him when he found out that it was him there, Harry Lime there, that expression on Wells's face was just priceless. I think that was a great expression, just like the yep, it's me, without saying a single word.
That's right.
I thought that was just a really great.
That is definitely a lost art.
Great visually. But I would say my favorite scene was where they come up to the house, and that Italian woman comes out with the comforter wrapped around her,
right?
The bed.
Chews her out, and then they go upstairs, and the cops, and just seeing how shady the cops really were in that thing, and that really settling in on him about how they really were really shady.
Yeah. That was definitely kind of, we're out of
we're not
Kansas.
in America anymore.
Yeah, sorry,
exactly.
I was mixing metaphors there for a second. Like, I was going to say, I'm out of Vietnam. I mean,
you're not there either.
Yeah.
I do have a second favorite scene.
Okay.
And the other one that I really liked, that I thought was just genius, was the shadow on the building.
Yes.
The walking of the shadow, and the shadow being as big as the building as it was going on. I thought that was just genius.
Yeah,
I really liked that one.
I really liked how this movie kind of progressed, though, because I love the fact that he was, he loved his friends. So it's like he didn't believe the cops, so discovering things, falling into things, even running into people that he recognized, the same dog, and little cues. I thought were really amazing in the story to kind of foreshadow the things that were to come.
Yes, never trust a European with a tiny dog.
Never.
Even back in 1949.
Or smoking a cigar.
I really loved how they did that. Or even how the cops kind of had to buy a balloon from the vendor because the vendor wouldn't leave him alone.
Yeah.
By the way, who sells balloons in the middle of the night? I actually thought that was Harry Lime there for a second, and then he zoomed up. It's like, damn, I was hoping for a disguise. I thought that would have been a good disguise.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, okay.
John likes really cheesy.
Do you remember what I told
Really
you I
cheesy.
did this summer out of high school going into college?
No.
I'll tell you when we're off the air.
Apparently it's blue.
It has to do with balloons.
So, okay, now I've really got to get back on track. So I generally don't start with myself, but I have to give this movie a 4 to 5. Very close to a 5 for me. The technical aspects, the story aspects, the fact for me this movie was a little bit of a challenge to watch, because I love black and white movies, I love slow movies, but there are parts of this movie that really drag on for me.
This was only an hour and a half.
Which is amazing because it felt longer. Even you have to admit, there were certain scenes in this movie that seemed longer than it was.
Yeah.
But so what do you give it then, Mr. Smartass?
I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think it's a little bit above average for black and white, and that's really where I'm gonna say 3.5.
So now,
Well, I'm gonna, and not because I picked it, but I still think it falls in the 4 category. And what can I say? I mean, we've beat it all to death already. We've talked about it. I liked the movie. I thought it was a fun pick, to pick this classic black and white, and that's the reason I did it. It was just something different than what we're normally.
I agree. I definitely agree. And next we're gonna go for, Banshee episode 2, and
It's been up late. He's
I'll let
tired.
James go.
Oh, I can tell he's been up late.
he's
Well,
been tired.
I actually really enjoy this series, and unfortunately, I understand that it's not everybody's cup of tea on this one. But I think
I'm trying.
I know he is.
I really am. I just watched it. If you walked in, I was watching the very end of it. So
At least
You
this episode's not an action movie with a porno attached.
yeah,
yes, that is very true. But this one, for
Came
me, I think
close.
this really kind of shows his lack of understanding of procedure.
I would say lack of respect.
Yeah, because I
doesn't
missed
care.
it in the first one, really trying to figure out exactly what his qualifications were to be sheriff, because I didn't see there were none, right?
No.
And it
Yeah.
just
He just took over the guy's
there
identity.
it is. Yeah, and so he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how to fill out records, and of course we've got that other officer where she's saying, well, did you file this form? Did you do this form? And he's kind of looking at me. Okay.
What are you talking about? There's
So
other
she-
forms besides
Yes.
this?
You mean I have to fill out paperwork? Can I just punch people and shoot
Right.
people? That's all I want to do.
I love the guy who wanted to become sheriff, and him going, well, you can't do this. Like,
Yeah, well,
shut up.
Well, watch me. I think in this one,
Vic Mackey is the sheriff.
it, it really does show that he really hasn't figured out what the heck he's going to be doing with this.
Yeah.
He has no idea.
He doesn't have a clue. He's feeling his way through
like
it.
he told the black guy.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name right now.
Sugar, honey?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray.
Whatever.
Anyway, Sugar
I'm
Bates,
sorry.
Sugar something like that. Anyway, Sugar.
The boxer.
I'm gonna play it by ear. That's really what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And
And
it's,
I think he does a decent job at flying by the wire. I don't want to get too much in it because I've actually seen all 3 seasons, so I don't want to kind of spoil it. But I think he does do pretty good early, kind of just playing it by ear and trying to do what he can to not make the situation, not to allow crime to run rampant.
He's
really what it
definitely-
is.
So we have the ultimate bad guy now that's really introduced, where he chopped
Yes,
off the
Proctor.
finger of
Yeah. I like
finger
that
of
scene where
guy,
he chopped it off and
then
tossed it to his dog.
and then he
I
says, "You better run."
I love the look on the guy's face going,
So my guess is we won't see that character in the next episode. I think the dog probably had him for dinner.
aw.
No.
Yeah.
They should show him limping.
I can't say I've ever seen him again.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to come back. So
But, that's the other thing is that they're bringing in the ultimate bad guy
Yeah.
of the town, which they told right off the bat, this is the guy you got to watch out for. And I think my problem with the way that they did it is they really, really make him like Hannibal Lecter bad.
Yeah,
appearing.
they do.
Really
they
bad.
really overplay the badness of him early on.
Yeah, we'll see how I'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
You already see. I'll see how he progresses as
But to
we go
me,
along
like
here.
watching
but, I
it
mean,
now again, it's like they're really making him look like Hannibal Lecter.
Oh man, he's really
They
bad.
they definitely make him like ridiculous. He's almost over the top.
Yes, yeah, it does seem like that.
It's
And-
almost
and
like a Tim Curry
I
esque over
really
the
had
top. type of-
I really had a problem with the very ending scene of this one where he's sitting there eating his steak and he's just
Oh
you know,
yes.
he's so stoic and he's just
Well,
the
I'm
fact
gonna
he contaminated his knife was like, oh,
yeah, that bothered me too.
yeah.
That's how you get AIDS, people. Here, let me just cut some random person's finger
don't-
off.
Finger off, and then I'm going to use this knife to cut
don't
my
forget,
steak.
ladies and gentlemen, James is always looking out for your health.
That's right.
That's right.
Don't, don't do what was done in the scene.
So, are you guys ready for something that I forgot to mention to you guys?
Sure. Bye.
Oh, okay.
After all the credits have ran, there's another 15 seconds.
Didn't know
Kidding.
that.
I missed the 15 seconds.
Yeah, they always do a little
I
something
know that.
that
I
leaves
noticed
you a
that
little
off
bit
of
trailed.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched the first one, the
All the way
after-
through.
Yeah, the credits all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I saw its ending.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I
Now
forgot
gotta
about
go
it with
back.
the
All
first-
right, well, I'll
first
catch
episode.
I'll catch it for next week.
So I didn't actually watch the first episode's 15 seconds. I forgot.
Before we switch to movie news, if we have any, I really love the cops look at the new sheriff when
Anthony
he starts
Starr?
when he starts beating people up, and they're all not quite sure what to take out of the fact this guy's just knocking people out left and right, and he even had a gun pointed at his head. He's really good at using his presence in this movie and saying, "Go ahead." And he freaks everybody out. I mean, that's the one thing I like about this show so far is nobody knows how to take him. Even Amish bad guy is like, "What's wrong with you?"
When he strikes the guy who's in handcuffs, you know,
Yeah.
gives him a
You know,
good one,
I don't
and
blame
the
him.
other-
I really cannot
that
blame
other
him
cop
on
says,
that.
"You can't do that. You're putting us in a bad position." He says, "I can do anything I want."
You know that, but
There you go.
True.
But the thing I gotta say though is, I don't blame him.
Oh, I don't blame him
really
either.
don't
I
either.
mean-
So
I've actually said
He's
that
got
to the
nothing to
sheriff
lose.
in our county. Are you sure you can't beat that person?
so make sure you stay to next week where we watch episode 3 of Banshee. And just to remind y'all, we do have a Facebook page. You love us, hate us. We'll even post your hate mail on our Facebook page.
Hey, you know what? If you're watching us, watch episode 3 and call in. We'll make you part of the show.
Yes.
Definitely.
Please.
You can find it on Cinemax.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I watch it online. If you have a DirecTV or a Comcast or anything like that,
Yeah,
Yep.
they'll play
You're
the
good to
whole
go.
episodes.
And
Yeah,
if you-
David Chowder, come on.
somebody call.
Do it.
Do it.
And
Wait, that's
so
his name, Chowder, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if Rob has any movie news. I do have a
I
couple of pieces.
Sure don't. I'm sorry.
One is anybody actually looking forward to watching Ant-Man?
No.
Because I might actually see it, but it's not even the guy who made the technology. Was it Prim in the comic book?
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
think it's a useless character, anyways.
I've always thought he was
I'm
a
Rick
useless
Moranis.
character.
Because like he's like a thief who happens to be Rick Moranis.
Yeah, I was
type
gonna
of
say,
thing.
are they gonna have Rick Moranis play him?
He better.
Is
and
Rick Moranis even around?
oh yeah,
Yeah, he is. I think he's still
So,
alive.
have
Okay.
any of you seen the new Terminator Genesis pre-trailers?
No.
I think it's what it's called.
Trailers?
Trailers.
I've seen a little bits and pieces.
Excuse me.
And so this isn't really movie news, but I've watched the trailers. He's kind of a Terminator. In front of what I've read, it's basically throwing away all the Terminator movies up to this point. And I have to admit, I'm actually okay if this franchise dies. I'm over the Terminator. I was done after the second one because to me, the second was the pinnacle.
Yeah, it wrapped it up nicely in a nice little basket.
I'm for it. Just because it's just another movie.
I think they've beat the thing to death. I mean, with what was it, Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Right.
And don't forget the one with
That they
Christian
had.
Bale.
Shut up.
Well,
I think it was done then. Did you watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
He did. I
Yeah.
never did.
I actually thought that they
they were done quite well, I thought.
Yeah, they did a good job on it, but I don't think they needed to keep going with it.
Well, hence it didn't last that long.
Yes,
I think
that's
2
true.
seasons and
Yeah, I think it was
gone.
2 seasons.
I think my biggest problem
And I
with
like
it,
Summer Glau too.
Yeah.
I think my biggest problem is they were never able to figure out how to rejigger the series so it was good. They tried doing it around John Connor in the second one, and that just didn't kind of get traction. Because they continued that with 3,
Yeah,
and
they
it
did.
didn't really go good. Then they tried to do, John Connor in the future with Christian Bale, and
That didn't go good.
I haven't seen it just because I'm kind of tired of the Terminator franchise, but I've never heard anybody say anything good about it, ever.
No, but I'll
You
tell
know,
you what,
I would
this one's
say
got
it
an
was the
interesting
most-
twist.
I would say that one was the most boring action movie I have ever seen.
And
The one with Kristen Bale.
really,
Yeah, I think it was just, let's hire this big name actor, somebody other than Schwarzenegger, and see if we can pump some life into this dead.
And it didn't do it.
And it didn't do
It
it.
was a really boring action
I also
film.
think what killed him is the fact that Christian Bale popping off at one of the guys, which killed it. And I don't know, I'll be honest, I'm just done with the Terminator franchise.
I want to see this one because they change up.
They screwed the timeline. They
Yeah. They screw up. Now
screw
he's
with it.
part
Terminator.
part human, and I just want to see how they did that. Now, is it going to be good? I don't have any high expectations for it, but maybe I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Happily surprised. Shall
I
we
would
say.
like to be happily
Either that, or
surprised
it'll
with
be what we expected it to be.
I'm really hoping it's better, but I'll be honest, if we see that in theaters, it's gonna have to be amazing for me not to do the old grumpy man thing. It really will. Not you, I swear. The next one I want to say is, anybody believe they're coming out with another Mission Impossible movie? Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Are they still gonna have
It's still
Cruisey in it?
It's
Still
still Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise? Yeah.
And I think Vig Rhymes is in it too.
Ving Rhames?
Vig Rhymes, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
You know,
Why? There's another why.
Was he in
my
the third one? Rhames?
he's in the first one and the third one, I
I
think.
think it was the third
He comes out throughout the series. My biggest problem with it is it's like an American version of James Bond. If it stayed close to the TV series,
one. It'd be more interesting.
it would be more entertaining. Because the TV series, all they did was screw with people.
Yeah, and
That's
dress
pretty
up
much
like
what they
women
did.
every now and then.
Or make a submarine in a warehouse and, put it on a gimbal.
Yeah,
what do
it's
you
a tough one, isn't it? Yeah,
I don't think it's necessary, really,
yeah,
to be honest.
I don't know.
I
but
think they
it-
could have
see,
let it go. But
Isn't it? We're right back to what's wrong, Hollywood? You can't invent something new. You got to go. Here
I
we
think
go
I gotta
again.
go back to Ryan's argument of, why are they going to dump a bunch of money into something that they don't know makes money?
But they see. I think they
But-
think it makes money, and I think that's why we're seeing so many
Well, no,
sequels, prequels. Add
That's what
whatever
I'm
you
saying.
want,
They're using tried and true.
It's a guaranteed
Yeah.
sale.
They think,
That's what they go with.
well,
but
everybody-
it doesn't always work that way, does it?
But
I
guar-
think they've
I
got
guar-
so much money now that only they toss a little bit of money, they make their money back plus a couple other.
Well, when an
million.
average movie is $300 million, that's
Mission-
an average movie.
Yeah.
But Mission Impossible is going to get its money back. It's almost guaranteed because everybody say, "Oh, I remember that movie. I thought at least I remember enjoying it. I don't remember anything about the fucking movie, but I remember enjoying it." So they're going to see it. It's another generic action movie.
And if it is Tom Cruise again, you're going to get all the Tom Cruise fans to go see it.
and everybody is hoping jump on couch, jump on a couch. Another movie. I've
Once was enough.
one more. What do you think about Top Gun 2?
Oh yes.
I've been reading this rumor, and this one returned a lot lately versus more than it did in the past.
They find out Goose is alive.
Top Gun 2: The Search for Goose,
Is it?
or Goose
Do
on
you know
Ice.
anything about it? Because
I haven't read. It's
I-
got to be out there, but I haven't heard anything.
the only reason I bring that up is because the only reason this movie would intrigue me at all is that maybe it'll be a new stealth fighter that
what I'd
nobody
be
knows
hoping.
about, and it
But it'll
does
be like the
secret
mo-
missions.
But it'll
and
be like the movie Stealth with Jamie Foxx.
Oh, they could do Top Gun, but the Russian version.
maybe, I don't know. Just a
Blue
thought.
gun.
I'll wait to see if it's a new plane and that's what it's all about, or
They probably will,
But,
but didn't
yeah.
what's his name? Oh, geez.
You mean
Will Smith do something about that? There was another one that they did, like some futuristic plane thing.
There was Stealth with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Stealth,
And
that's
where,
right.
like I said, and it was this plane that had an AI and something that like
Right,
lightning hit it and
right,
it went
right.
rogue and
That was a stupid movie.
That was a stupid
I'm
movie. I
kind
forgot
of
about it. That was stupid.
I'm kind of excited about it because I liked the first one, but really, how can you make a second one? The movie's very well packaged. It's all
Yeah, are they gonna
contained.
do another karaoke dance scene?
They'll throw another $300 million at it, and they'll bring it out, and we'll go, okay.
That's crap.
I'd sure like to know
There's
where
my
all
rating
this,
already.
all-
It's crap.
I'd like to know where all this money goes. I mean, there must be some very high.
I know Obama's trust
So
fund.
here's something James will be excited about.
All right, this is it.
One more. Chronicles of Narnia Silver Chair script has been finished, and from what I remember, this was James' favorite Narnia book.
I've been waiting for this one,
Chronicles
but
of
I've
Narnia.
been waiting for 6 years for this one, it seems like. When was the last one released?
It was the Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Yeah, but when was it released?
A long ass time ago.
Yeah, I want to look that up. Do you have that word in hand? I don't know if IMDb out.
So I'm actually excited. I actually really like the movies. We'll see if it's any good or not. And next week is our theater pick. And so what did we decide?
Wow, 5 years ago.
So what movie we decided? Because we're going for Jurassic
You
Park
said
World.
Jurassic
Transformers. Oh, wait,
There's
what?
not one out yet.
Then
Wait
you said
another month.
Jurassic Park.
So
Jurassic World.
Park
A
or
world.
Jurassic World
Excuse
is going to be.
me.
There's a difference, people.
One is the whole world. One is a teeny little park.
Which they
so-
visit.
Never visit the island. So, yep, we're going to do
Never
Jurassic
learn from
Park
history.
World next week. And hold on, my iPad just crashed. And I gave the movie The Third Man 4 to 5. James gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And Rob gave it a 4 to 5. And Ryan
Ryan
next
gave it
week will
nothing.
tell you, me, somebody, what he thought of it, hopefully. And as
If he
always,
remembers.
Hey! I tell you what. Before we close this out, any guesses?
Oh, what do you think? I
On
think he's going to
Ryan.
give it a 3.
I'll,
think-
Three.
I'll 2.5.
I was gonna say it's a 2 or 2.5. Let's see.
I think
Maybe
it's
he'll
a 3.
surprise us. I just don't see this being Ryan's cup of tea. He's
Really?
He's got a
don't
very
know.
eclectic
he
taste.
does.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.